their coastline still bears the memory and the remnants of the slave trade. Along a 560-kilometer, 350-mile stretch, there are more than 20 slave forts and trading posts, including the Cape Coast Castle, now one of the country's biggest tourist attractions. As far back as the 1600s, these buildings were used by European traders as a base from which to ship gold and also to traffic human beings. It's an area which archaeologists have been exploring for years, and now they've made an extraordinary discovery which could reveal new information about this troubled period. The BBC's Thomas Nadi reports.
Underneath this iconic Fort Amsterdam, history beckons. I'm inside one of the pits where archaeologists have been working hard trying to dig up the physical remains of the first English slave forts. And this right here is believed to be the foundation of Fort Cromartin. It will later become the building blocks of the slave trade and inconceivable human suffering. A team of researchers are busy at work. Fort Amsterdam was built on top of the ruins of the English fort after the Dutch captured it in a ferocious battle. But how significant is this find?
Its significance lies in the fact that it's the first English outpost established anywhere in Africa. If we look at that time period, it's also very, very significant because it's that point in time when here on what was then the Gold Coast, it's during the 17th century that slaves replaced gold as the most important trade item.
This is how Fort Cromartin might have looked like. It served as a warehouse for the goods used to buy the slaves and a holding point for slaves. About 3,000 of them were shipped from here to the Caribbean. A few artifacts have also been discovered.
If we take these things here, you may recognize them as smoking pipes. They look a bit similar to pipes that you may have seen, but also their own unique styles. And this tells us about the age of these pipes. If you look at this one, for example, look at how tiny it is. At this point in time, tobacco was very expensive. So they would have a small bit of tobacco. As time goes on, the price of tobacco becomes cheaper, and so the bowls become larger. But the size and the style of these bowls tell us about the age of these things. And this tells us that we're dealing with the early period, the period when the English were here before the Dutch.
The Ghana Museums and Monuments Board is responsible for preserving the forts and castles dotted along the country's coastline.
This new discovery, we believe that it is going to help the narration of Fort Amsterdam, and it is also going to attract more people to come to Fort Amsterdam, and more especially to help boost the local economy at Abanzi.
Cromartin is now the name associated with many enslaved Africans from coastal Ghana. More excavations here within the next 3 years will reveal the size and design of the English slave forts. Thomas Nadi, BBC News, Abanzi in southern Ghana.